Hello and welcome to the first annual Haunted PS1 Demo Disc Awards. The 2021 Demo Disc was amazing. It was so amazing, in fact, that I was planning on structuring this as a tier list, but there weren't enough bad games to fill out the lower tiers. In fact, there weren't any bad games. Seriously, every one of the entries showcases unique and amazing talents from some truly stellar game designers. While I might crack some jokes here and there, I want to make it clear that it's all in fun and that I'm wildly impressed with everything I've seen so far. So here we are. Instead, I want to give out awards. I just don't have the time to go in depth with every single game here, but I did play all the demos, at least to some extent, over on Twitch, and there is enough press about each of these games that you should be able to find out most anything you want to know about them. Please note though, some of these games do deal with heavy themes. In the demo disc itself, each game contains a content warning which can be accessed outside of its room, and any which the creators felt could be particularly troubling contain warnings as the demo begins. I've done my best to keep things relatively light here though. Also, I will not be covering any secret or endgame content. This is a free download, so if you haven't played it yet, what are you waiting for? It's great, and if you're remotely interested, you need to check it out right now. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Agony of a Dying MMO gets the Shadow the Hedgehog award for edginess. This game is edgy as hell, and I'm still not sure if it's a commentary on MMO communities or if it's a supernatural .exe style game. I don't know that it matters. It could be both, it could be neither. Either way, there are Nazis and actual furry sex RP in this title, so the award stands. Fiend's Isle gets the Making Me Like a Roguelike award. I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes or procedurally generated games, but Fiend's Isle is a game I warmed up to pretty quickly. It's a fun little jaunt that captures the feel of retro dungeon crawlers very nicely. An Outcry gets the I feel uncomfortable making a joke about this game, so please just play it because it's really well written, and from what I'm told, it actually does a very effective job at capturing the sensations it was trying to convey. Award. Pathogen X gets the Mid-90s Action Game Award for feeling so damn 90s. Ghastly Ghoulies gets the Spyro the Dragon Award for adorable dragonness. This one is just a delight. It feels like a tie-in for a Saturday morning cartoon that never was, and it is truly adorable. Peeb Adventures gets the Meme Award. It reminded me of Bubsy Visits the James Turrell retrospective, and I will never forgive it for that. Still Ridge gets the Most Elevated Fan Game Award. JB, the dev for this game, was actually in the chat when I streamed it. Seemed like a great guy. This was apparently supposed to be PT, but point and click, and spun off into its own thing. I had some issues with the demo, but this is really an interesting project, and I'm genuinely excited to see where it goes. Mummy Sandbox gets the Samuel L. Jackson as the octopus in the 2008 movie The Spirit Award for being just plain damn weird. Apollosis gets the Eiffel 65 Award for featuring an awful lot of stuff that's only one color. It's a very red game. There's some awesome imagery in it though. Lorn's Lure gets the Mirror's Edge Award for solid first-person platforming systems. This is a fun game to navigate. The Chameleon gets the Thomas Magnum Award for the most badass-looking protagonist. Seriously, look at this guy. The Heilwald Loophole gets the Best Sound Design Award. I couldn't think of a joke here, but seriously, this game's sound design is perfection. It made me scream, and it's one of only 2 games in the collection that did so that I can recall, and that counts for something. This game has gone 8 ways bananas. Okay. Kanji Walk, which I'm told might be Walk Walk or just Walk for short, gets the Pure Concentrated J-Horror Award. Small child running from a demon thing while red kanji flashes up. It's beautiful. T-Mod gets the It Wouldn't Run on My First Go-Round Award. It wouldn't run for me on my first go-round. I did manage to get it working. It's Spooky Gmod for the Spooky Gmod lovers in the house. Tori 3D gets the Petscop Award for most unassuming fake PS1 game. This one looks the part, and it's a fun little platformer in its own right. Were it not for this collection, I would not have thought anything was up, but the horror unfolds slowly and steadily. It does get a little .exe game for my tastes, but it's a fun little accessible title for those looking for something less serious. The Salt Order gets the Most Profanity I've Uttered in One of These Demos award. It's the other game that made me scream. It was a little frustrating, but it had a creative core gameplay loop. That Which Gave Chase gets the My Cup of Tea award. Something about this one just clicked. I like that you aren't unarmed. I like the dog sledding thing. I like that it uses the environment to great effect. I really want to see the final version of this because I think I'd adore it. The Lunar Effect gets the Jill Valentine Award for Best Classic Horror Game Puzzles. This one pretty much nails the PS1 horror aesthetic to a T. Few gimmicks or memes here, just a really solid core with some great tension and atmosphere, and some really fun puzzles. Chasing Static gets the Welsh Alan Wake Award. For some reason, this was the game the demo reminded me of the most. The threat was kept vague as you explore a strange diner in a small town that seemed full of mystery. I don't know much about this one from the demo, but the setup had me hooked. We're now going to address my top games from the collection and count down to my Game of the Demo Disc of the Year award. My honorable mention is The Drowning Machine. The reason it's not in my top 5 has nothing to do with its quality. It's a beautifully made, incredibly touching game. I follow the dev on Twitter and they seem really cool. The game is a tribute to their friend Charlie Schultz, who unfortunately took their own life. This game was completed as a promise to Charlie. It's breathtaking, and it brought me to tears multiple times. The reason it's not in the top 5 is because this is a difficult game to recommend. It's a dark game with heavy themes. I actually skipped it entirely when streaming just because the topic hits so close to home for me and for a large portion of my audience. But rest assured that it is worth playing if you know what you're getting into. And on a more serious note, to everyone out there, look out for one another. And don't be shy about telling the people you love that you do care about them. And Aiden Cushing, I want to thank you for the experience. I hope you're well. Anyway, on to the top 5 list. Number 5, Janitor Bleeds. I will admit this one hit a little differently, as I'd recently watched Willy's Wonderland before playing it, but even so, it's actually a really interesting take on a FNAF-style setup. All the elements are there, and yet the game does enough to elevate those parts to create something truly memorable. Protagoras Bleeds, the other bleeding game, made the top 5 list as well. This one, much like the Lunar Effect, does a great job of nailing the classic horror feel. This one feels like it's building on Silent Hill from what I played. It really triggered something within me, and I adore it. Risu! The fluidity of the camera really sold me on it. The aesthetic is gorgeous, and there's an eerie smoothness to how things move. Little is explained, and yet much of the game was pretty intuitive. I also really enjoyed the wisecracking protagonist. Echostasis! Echostasis is a frankly gorgeous title that manages to nail the haunted futuristic computer program concept, at least for me. Everything about this one was pleasant to my brain folds in ways that are hard to describe. It has an outrun aesthetic at times, and while it does feel dark and drab at others, I like the integration of the computer commands, and it's just a real chef's kiss of a game. Number 1, Loveland. This game is creepy as fuck. The frog theme is perfect. The background croaking is deeply unsettling, and the escalation throughout the demo was spine-chilling. There's a moment where a person gives birth to frogs through their back that almost made me vomit. I hated that moment so much, and yet that's why I consider it my number 1. The game just made me want to curl up in the fetal position in the shower, and it did so without anything too sexual or particularly bloody or even all that edgy. It just used its subject matter to such amazing effect, and even the more graphic content is simply true to real frogs' lives. I hate how much I love this one. It's genuinely my favorite game here, and the title is just icing on the cake. Loveland, home of the Frogman, a cryptid that was not invented for this game, and which is my absolute favorite cryptid of all time. And so concludes the Haunted PS1 Demo Disc Awards. I have promised a viewer I'd go through last year's discs, so stay tuned for that. And hey, why not subscribe? It helps the channel a lot. These last couple episodes have been a little heavy, so I'm thinking I might see about relaxing a bit, letting our hair down. That's all for now, though. Take care.